This is Top K Dramas with Bruce and Dallas.
Hey.
Our last episode of Hello Me.
Yes,
episodes
indeed.
15 and 16.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. So did you do 3 sentences?
Yes, I actually did them for both of them. I know I just told you I didn't do it for 16, but I figured it out. So 15. So the young Ha-ni finally finds out what happened to her dad, right? Sentence number 2, the board votes in favor of the chairman and Auntie gets arrested for stock market manipulation. That was huge. And then Anthony apologizes for being a bully and quits the entertainment industry. Those are my 3.
What's he going to do?
Well, that's what 16 is for in the wrap up.
He's a star. What could he possibly do?
I know, and then if we're not gonna, let's just chase this one right now. It's like, and then he gives up his entire life savings.
That's for. Are you sure we know that in this episode?
Maybe not.
You're going ahead. Okay, so we start.
That's why you do the play-by-play. You jumped over there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just go ahead.
You got all excited and just started talking.
Okay. It's my fault. It's always hell. It's anyway. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say was, if we finally, she learns the truth. It took us this long.
Yes.
For her to find out what happened to her dad.
Right. Very different. Very, very different motivation. For this, like the time travel thing, right? It's like it's like for in the United States, there's a very different mission. This one, it's like, no, we're gonna wait all the way until episode 15 of a 16 episode series to give this one to you. And I'm like, wow, that's different. It really was.
To give what to us? Her finding out. That
her finding out, and like. Well, see, I'm getting excited again, and I'm about to jump forward.
Okay, let's move forward.
So let's just go ahead.
So the episode starts with them at the they gave the name exactly how you call it, but
yeah,
cemetery. I'm just gonna say cemetery, but it's cemeterium or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something cemeterium.
Yeah,
something
because
like that. Crematorium.
Something like that because they're not buried.
Yeah.
In the ground. They were cremated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we start the episode off with young Ha-ni and her mom are there.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees their picture. And,
yes.
And I'm guessing there was a date maybe. So she realizes
February 19th.
Yeah. And she blames herself because she figures out the day that he died.
Mm-hmm.
And she just breaks down crying.
Yeah. I mean.
Because for her, that's like, just yesterday. I mean, well, literally it's like a month, right? 2 months?
Couple months now. Yeah.
2 months?
Almost. Yeah. No, 3 months. 3 months. Now.
Yeah.
100 days is over 3 months.
Yeah. So that hit her like it did the first time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Her mom ends up calling Ha-ni.
Mm-hmm.
And Ha-ni shows up because Ha-ni's at the share meeting. Or the shareholders meeting, because they're having the meeting in this episode to vote who's going to take over.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so Ha-ni's mom calls her to let her know what's going on, and Ha-ni takes off.
Yeah,
she's on her way.
Yeah.
There's a scene here at the meeting where the chairman he's talking to Hyun, and he's like, look, no matter who wins, when it's all over, someone's going to be hurt.
For sure.
And so he knows a little more than we do at the time when we're watching.
Right.
And so, because at first I was like, okay, yeah, I get someone's not going to be happy. But no, there was already a plan in place to, arrest his sister for the share manipulation.
Yes.
And we find out it's a little more clear that the nephew, Yoon, was involved.
Yes.
Because he makes a comment like, look, if we let her go, she's going to turn into a monster. Like, it would have been worse
Right.
if we let her go and not do this right. So Yoon turned out to be do the right thing
Did the right
in the
thing.
end. Because
Just like the Spike Lee movie. Do the anyway,
okay.
I'm sorry.
So
do the right thing.
Yes, he ended
That's
up.
it. That's all you got. Yes, do the right
But
thing.
you know, I was
Yes,
thinking
there it
is
is.
the right thing when he was trying to support his mom and his wife. Was that the right thing? That was hard, right? Because he's like, I got to protect my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she can go to prison.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
she was pregnant.
oh, so
So I
okay.
mean, right? That would have been that's.
I
don't know if I would have made
Let's
the same. Yeah, I don't know if I would have made the same decision, but I mean, I that makes the decision makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So they end up winning, Hune and his father,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is when the aunt gets arrested.
Yeah,
We already said
there
that.
was stock market manipulation and then something else, like
Yeah.
something involving the poisoning or something like that, the kids or something. So it was anyway. I just thought it was deep, like for real. Like it's like, man,
Did she
what
get in
really?
trouble for that too? They figured that out that they actually. Ooh, that's bad.
You knew. I mean, the
You or
character.
Yoon?
Is it Yoon?
Yoon. Yeah.
Okay,
If we're even
you
saying it
knew,
right.
yes.
Okay.
So therefore, no, she got hit with the whole kit and caboodle.
That's gonna be rough. So back at the cemetery, Ha-ni shows up, and you know, the young Ha-ni is blaming herself, and she says, you know, I'm gonna go back and save him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all hugging, and they're telling her it's not her fault. And the mom, like they were all hugging and healing, because the mom, I took it as like the mom never really um comforted young Ha-ni at the time, because she said she apologized for not doing it 20 years ago.
Yes.
For not telling her 20 years ago that it wasn't her fault.
Right.
Because can you imagine we saw what happened.
Right.
To the older Ha-ni, of the guilt.
Yes, absolutely.
She had the guilt, and her mom and the grandmother, you know, blamed her.
Right.
That's why
everyone blamed. It's like it wasn't just Ha-ni having, you know, feeling guilty. It was the whole family came down, because remember the sister said the same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when she yelled at her
when she got on her
in the alleyway or something.
And she's just like, you know, it's because of you that I can't say, you know,
I've never been
hi
able to say
dad.
dad.
Yeah. And so it's like, I mean, so when you got all of that, you know, on the top of you, yeah. Now
everything
who the older Ha-ni is should make a lot more sense to us.
Exactly. Like I need a minute to just marinate on that. Like to go back to the beginning and see her younger self, you know, and how happy she was, and you know, the zest for life she had, and she was going to be a star, or just do great things. And then you see, I mean, gosh, it's kind of funny just going back to seeing her in the squid outfit in the first episode.
Yeah.
Selling the snacks.
Squid good. Yes.
And now, right now, we know why. Yeah. The guilt, man. I'm telling you, the guilt, parental guilt, even parental guilt, the guilt you have.
Yeah.
Of that's huge.
Right. Yeah, because I wasn't clear as to, you know, it's like I think we got a sense of it with the grandmother, but I wasn't clear about the mother either, or as like how she reacted to it. And like I said, at this moment, it is 100% clear that everybody came down on Ha-ni's head. Everyone. And so, yeah.
Because remember in the beginning too, we're like, look at how her sister talks to her. Remember, like a servant.
Yep.
And she cooked for her, and Ha-ni was just running around, taking care of them, cleaning the house, like almost scared of her a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're like, how did that happen? When you see the past,
right?
You know, she called her bald eagle, and how she was with her.
Right.
It all makes sense now. It took this long. It was good.
Yeah.
That
was definitely the that was definitely to me. If the movie would have, if the series would have ended here, honestly, I think it would have almost been better.
Well, okay.
It continuing, it was
Remember that.
and maybe it's in my head. Maybe I just had different expectations.
Okay.
But go ahead. Keep going.
Remember what you just said right now, because I want to touch on that when we get to episode 16.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. You see Yoon and his sister-in-law, Mrs. O.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of settle things, they work it out, and back another scene at the sister's house. I think that the Ha-ni talks to the young Ha-ni because she's miserable,
Right.
and she says, Dad would be upset if you're like this. She's like, make sure when you go back that you eat your meals. And she says, I know what you're going through.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting how she said, make sure you eat your meals. Like, she probably remembers she wasn't eating and
right.
all this stuff. And she says too, like, I know what you're going through. And the young Ha-ni then says, well, then tell me what to do.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, in this particular situation, and I don't know why I'm feeling like getting all emotional, but it's an emotional space. To say, it's like, to say, I know what you're going through, and really actually mean it. Like for real, like, I know what you're going through because I'm you, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. It's like versus, someone's parents die, and it's like, look, I understand. I know what you feel because my parents died. It's like it's even that much more to say, I know what you feel. I know how you're feeling because I'm you.
I went through it.
I literally went through this, and this is what you need to do. That's so
weird. It still trips me out when I think about that.
Yeah, it's like when there's times like this when you almost forget about the time shift. And you just think of it as an older woman talking to a younger woman, but it's like, oh no, this is why they did this, right?
I think they did this so well because I forget. When a show does that, they do it well.
Yes.
When I'm watching and I forget that Ha-ni, that they're the same person. And so when she said that, it kind of like brings you back in time.
Yep, it does.
It snaps you out of what you're, that you're actually engaged, and it snaps you out. And I love that because that's exactly how I was feeling when I was watching that. And then when Ha-ni tells her, I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I went, she really knows.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it was like you're like talking to your conscience or something. I don't know. Yeah. But they did it well.
Yes.
I think they really did it well. If we want to talk a little bit about Anthony, because there's some scenes going back and forth with Anthony. Like you said in your sentence, he gives everything up. Oh, well, not yet, not quite yet. What happens is you see him with his agent, and they're trying to talk him out of it because he's going to quit.
Yes.
I think that was a little much, but maybe because he changed his the whole reason why he wanted to become a star changed, and so maybe at this point it wasn't that important to him.
Maybe,
because he found Ha-ni.
Yeah,
he found her.
He did find her. Because he became a movie star, but maybe for him it was over. Versus thinking about it like him punishing himself, it was like, this part of my life is over.
Like when you have a what's the word, when there's something you need to do, once you do it, and if that was your whole reason for doing it, it's oh, you're like, I'm good.
Yep.
I did what I was supposed, like Ha-ni, young Ha-ni. She did what she was supposed to do. Now it's time to go.
Yep.
So we see on the walk home, because Anthony's going to go to Ha-ni's house, but Hyun and Ha-ni are walking home. And he talked to Ha-ni about, I went through this when my mother died, and somebody helped, because they were talking about she had was telling him that they were where they were, that they were at the cemetery.
Yes.
And she said that was like the first time,
Mm-hmm.
or it was the first time in a long time that she's ever gone to visit her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I understand, because when we had the ceremony or funeral for my mom, I couldn't go in. But because somebody held my hand and walked me through it, that's significant.
A cab driver.
That's significant. We'll talk more about that next episode. But he says, I can do that for you. And he grabs her hand.
Mm-hmm. Cab driver didn't come in this episode, but it was an earlier episode.
Yeah.
He had
No, he said he liked cab drivers.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think he actually said it was a cab driver
that saved me.
That saved me. Yes, he actually. Yes,
that's all he said. It saved me.
Yes.
Okay, and then here he said, so we're kind of giving up a little. So when they get home, Anthony's there, and I was like, oh, I thought something was going to happen, but Hyun was cool. He gave him their space because Anthony says, oh, you're the only one that knows how foolish I could be. Like, I need to talk to you.
Yes.
Because, I can trust you. So I thought it was cool that Hyun saw the importance here. And he's, and he was like, cool, no fighting.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing. He didn't leave. It's so funny. But then he lives right there. He lives very close, right?
He does live
because he went around the corner and he was waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he tells Ha-ni that your daughter came to visit me, and he was a little embarrassed, he said. And so Ha-ni tells him that he needs to face his past.
Yep.
And I think that's always the best decision.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you have something horrible that you did or something, I mean, you can't, the worst thing is just to hide it. You just have to kind of face it and say, okay, this is what I did.
Yep.
And I don't think it was necessarily that bad. I don't know what culturally for him to be a bully. Because sometimes you do that when you're young. A lot of kids are bullies.
Yeah, but the implication was that it was a higher scale.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just a bully. He was
beating him up. He was
a
bad.
Bully gang. It was more like a gang situation versus just bullying. Because everyone gets bullied, right? At some stage, some place, right? Almost, everyone gets bullied, but it's the organization, like a bully. Like I said, it's more like a gang versus being bullied.
Okay, so we finally find out, and I'm sorry to tell you, you were wrong.
Oh, yeah.
The dad called. It was the dad.
It was the dad.
Called. And so we still don't really understand how that all happened, but so let's just pass over that.
And they do not try to explain it.
Yeah. So he did call, and he's telling her that she has 7 days left, and he's just, I'm sure you know a way. Like, I'm sure you got to come home.
You got to figure it out.
And let's see. Their little talisman is turning black.
Yes.
So it's just getting closer, right? We all know it's just getting closer.
The countdown.
Yes, for her it's time for
I
her
did watch the intro and I saw the countdown.
There was, right.
There's a countdown.
So there's a scene which I don't even know if it was important it was a Hyun and the shaman. Does he go see the shaman?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, if you interfere, like, I guess don't interfere because you could vanish or she could vanish, and you just that death is near.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like scaring you, I think, for no reason. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll
talk about it next episode. What?
Okay.
What?
No, that's fine.
I thought you were going to go ahead because a lot of this.
I'd rather just honestly, there's the part of me that just wants to get to the daggone last episode so we can just talk. But okay.
I know, but there are some people that may not have. Okay. As you can tell,
we have to be for our fans. Our fans. We're doing it for the fans.
Okay. And so there's a flashback with Ha-ni, and she's also telling her sister and her mom, like, dad sent her back as a gift. She said that before, that someone sent her back as a gift, but she's saying he wanted to show how radiant we used to be, to remind her, right, because he's probably feeling horrible too. He left her.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, over this series, I've imagined that space quite a few times of just being like, what would happen to my kids? Honestly, I think my boys would be fine. I don't know why. It just is. I just think Alana wouldn't take it so well.
Well, she's still growing. She's only
Yeah.
12. That's why.
Yeah.
The boys are adults. I think maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's just, and because it also pulls on, the special connection between fathers and daughters, and everything. And so
I'm not be fine.
What's that?
You know who won't be fine?
Who? Oh.
Okay, let's go on.
Let's not think about that. I purposely left you out. I didn't even want you to think about it because we've actually had this discussion a few times. Well, me signing my life insurance.
Okay.
She will be well taken care of, folks. She will be well taken care of financially, but not anyway.
I know where this is going. Let's stop. Okay. Hey, so we see a scene with Ha-ni and the mom and the sister, and they're all asleep together. So I love that. I love that they can all just snuggle up on the floor like that. I want to sleep on the floor like that. I'm gonna have like a little cot.
I'm not. You can sleep on the floor all you want. I'm not gonna sleep on the floor.
Yeah, our oldest son sleeps like that.
Yeah,
he sleeps he is so funny because he's like super clean. He would get along. He would do well in like
South Korean culture. He would fit right in.
He would do so well. The only thing is he's so darn big.
He's huge. Yeah.
Our oldest son is like, he says he's 6'3".
He's 6'3". Yeah.
Okay, his shoe size is like 13. He's huge. He
shoe size no is 14.
And he hates it because he said, Mom, like I nothing's made for me.
Yep.
And I feel so bad because I'm like, our other kids, all they talk about is they would just give anything to be his height and how big he is. And it's sad because he doesn't want to be that big. He's like breaks everything. He sits down and breaks stuff. And he's like, he can't find any shoes.
Last time we checked in, he was also like 300 pounds or so also. So he's a little big guy. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy. Yeah. Just saying.
But it's sad because he says I can't find things. Like he has to go out and find specialty shoes that are wide or and anyways, but it's just so strange because then our other kids, they measure themselves. Like Alana measures herself every day, to hope.
Try to figure out her height.
Yes.
Because she's still growing.
And so
inflamed growth plates.
Why am I talking about this? Because he sleeps.
Because they were sleeping on the floor.
He likes he would do very well because he keeps his room like super clean.
So clean that he could sleep on the floor.
Yeah, and then he folds his bed like they do and puts it away, and then his room
gives him more
office.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually genius. Right? I mean, you really can live. I mean, he can live his whole life like that.
And he likes, you have to like sleeping on the floor. Like it has to be okay with your back. You have to be used to it.
Yep.
I think that works for his back better than a bed.
Yeah.
But anyways, but you have to be clean.
Super clean. That's why in every single one of these dramas you see these cleaning scenes and everything where it's like
and no shoes.
No shoes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So all of that to say they're sleeping together on the floor. And I think it's the mom who tells Ha-ni that she's a pretty girl. She was such a pretty girl back then, but I was too busy to notice. Oh, it broke my heart. She was, and she said, we finally learned to embrace each other in times of pain. Because of all three, well, four, but the three girls are there.
Yeah.
Because this is what they should have done back then.
Yep.
Instead of but I mean, when you're going through that trauma, I can't imagine.
Right.
You're in so much pain and you need part of it is blaming somebody, right? When you go through the steps of healing or anger or something or whatever it is.
Stages of grief. Yeah.
I mean, blame is one of them, isn't it? Isn't blame? Like you start to blame.
Anger, that'll work. The anger is definitely one of the stages. I can't remember. First is denial, then I think it's anger, then I don't know all of them, and maybe I'm skipping one, but then it's like compromise, and then the last one is acceptance. But what people don't talk about is that, and which I've had to go through in numerous occasions, I found out that the stages of grief is actually a cycle. It's not you get to this fourth step and then you stops. It literally it starts all over again.
So you're constant.
Yeah, it starts all over again, and so that's what
you constantly have to be healing.
You constantly have to go through this cycle where you get angry. Maybe you're not in denial so much, or I'll speak personally on this, that when it comes to my mom passing away, it's not about denial anymore. It's more but I get to a space where I get angry, and mad at myself, mad at God, mad at the world, and then I get to this compromise space. I get to this, negotiating thing, and then I accept it again, and then her birthday comes and it goes all over again, and then Mother's Day comes and it happens all over again, and then her death day comes and it happens all over again. And so yeah, grief is like that, right? It's like the stages of grief are not, it's not an end point, it's a cycle. And that's something.
You want to cry.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I don't want to use your dirty tissue.
Well,
Bruce trying to give me his dirty tissue. You know what? This drama just touches everything we can relate, I guess, to everything in. Oh, thank you for giving me a clean.
I gave her a clean tissue this time. If y'all saw that.
Just this drama really hits us and where we are in our stage of life.
Yeah, 50, and we told y'all this, right? It's like right from the beginning, we told you, if you're older, you'll get it. Whether you like it or not, we'll never be able to figure that out, right? But it's like, if you're older, you'll get it. And the punchlines in this thing are just phenomenal, right?
I guess like seeing them in bed together, like, I can't imagine. I just need to stop crying. I imagine how the mother feels to be able to get in bed and hold her daughter. Oof. As a young girl, right? Because you don't necessarily do that as adults.
Yeah.
If you have an adult daughter, but that's why, like, in the mornings I get up and I go get in bed with Alana. I can't really do that with the boys. That would be a little weird, but I get in bed with her and I lay with her because one day she's going to be a woman, and as women, we probably could still do that, but
for sure.
But I don't know if I will be able to embrace her.
Right.
That way. It might be a little bit weird because it already is. She's like, sometimes she's like, Mom, but I go get in there, and just sleep with her for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Also too, because, she slept with us too. She was
like
10,
at least 10.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think it was actually closer to 12 now that I think about it.
She's 12 now.
Oh, she's 12 now. So it was 10.
Like right when COVID happened, that she kind of started sleeping in her bed. Like, I mean, she didn't sleep with us like, let's all go to bed. Like she has her room, but as she got older, she would
start in her bed and then
she'd wake up in the middle of the night every morning. And the girl had no shame. Like we tried to shame her. One time we tried to shame her in front of her friend, and she's like, she had this look just like she did. She's like, please, I sleep with my parents. I have no problem telling everybody.
Not now. Well, yeah.
And she's like, you're not.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not going to shame me into not sleeping with you, Mom. No, I don't care. She had no problem. And so, anyways, and so we've got to move on because I'm going to look a mess in just a minute. So the last
Beautiful
episode.
Mess.
Oh,
come on.
The last scene is when Hyun brings the cake over. It's his birthday? No, it's not his birthday. He just says it is his birthday eventually. So he brings a cake over, and he recognizes Ha-ni's dad from a picture. And that closes out this episode 15.
It does.
Episode 16. Are you ready? What do you got for us? 16.
All righty. Get yourself, get your life right. So right here. This is the other side.
All right. I don't have my glasses on to hide the mess.
It's the other side. This side.
Okay.
Just, it's okay. Just one more swipe under. I think you'll.
Okay.
No, under.
I can't see. Episode 16.
Anyway. Episode 16. The Ha-nis and Hyun find out that their fates are more closely entwined than we thought.
Okay.
Sentence number 2, Ha-ni finds her way back home. And sentence number 3, the wrap up, what happens to Anthony and Hyun?
Okay.
That's it.
So what I have to say about this episode, I wasn't that impressed. Like you said, maybe they could have ended it last episode.
Oh, for sure. No, they could have compressed this thing down to 12 and it would have I feel like it would have flowed so much better.
Maybe stronger, have a stronger ending.
A stronger emotional pulls all through if they would have just shortened it to 12. Easily shortened this to 12. Easily could have shortened this to 12.
Like we start off this episode with the flashback that Ha-ni's dad meets Hyun crying. They could have just did that quickly in the last episode. So what happens is, and they gave us this little clue like the last 3 episodes, that that Ha-ni's dad is the one that held his hand and took him to the funeral and even gave him a snack, I think.
Yeah, a bag of snacks.
Which, does that tie into why he didn't like snacks? Also, because it reminded him of his mom and then his dad working so much. I don't know, but
no. So there was a scene, it was a very specific scene. I remember that when the Ha-nis were out there protesting, right, and then the chairman he goes out there and they're telling him, it's like, hey, snacks, they changed my mood. And there was this one specific scene where the chairman was remembering snacks changing his mood, and he was at his wife's funeral. And then Hyun comes in with a bag of snacks. And the father was like, are you trying to change my mood and make me feel better? And he was like, this is salty sweet or whatever. And I was wondering myself, like, that's weird. Why would you bring in a bag? What kid has a bag of snacks or has a bag of chips or something like that? But makes sense. They tied it in.
Oh, okay.
I did think that was cool. I just didn't think you needed 3 episodes to prep it. I didn't think that you needed to extend a lot of the stuff that wound up happening. Especially, and especially because we didn't have a burning romance that we were waiting to see kind of, I don't know is the word, finalized or like connected. There wasn't that to kind of occupy our minds as we're going through story. Because, you can say the same thing about any Korean drama that we watch, that you could shorten it. You could shorten it, you could shorten it, you could shorten it. But there's ones that I actually like the extended version because I'm like, yo, the way that romance simmered for so long and then burned towards it's like, whew, yeah, yes, that'll work. We didn't have that in this one. And so it was, so we were supposed to be more into the story, but the story could have been, like I said, the story could have been tighter. It could have been a lot tighter because we didn't have a romance to distract us.
Yeah. And so the young Ha-ni finally admits to Ha-ni why she was so pathetic. Or she understands why she was so pathetic.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
that was a great, I mean, you kind of knew that was going to happen, but that was a great reconciliation moment. I mean, because remember, and I remember, some of our listeners saying like, man, I'm not going to watch this one because, young honey keeps on saying, kill yourself, and
Oh, really?
like, right. Remember, like in
I would have
the
killed
young honey is
myself.
like, I would just kill myself. Like there was real visceral moments, between these two, like,
You needed that,
you are
though.
so pathetic. I would just kill myself if I became you.
Did somebody really say they wouldn't? They wouldn't.
Yeah, they didn't watch past like episode 3 because they just got sick of it. They got sick of the young honey saying, kill yourself. And it's like, oh, but episode 4.
But you needed that.
You had to have this.
Because that just shows you like the juxtaposition of somebody who just had their whole life ahead of them.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the next day to say, that's you. And she'd be like, no, that's not me. That's not you.
I do not accept this.
Yes. But oh my gosh. And then at the end for her to say that.
Yes.
I get it. Oh my gosh. Like what it never, and this is exactly what happens when you're young.
Yes.
Because you think you're invincible. Never occurred to her to ask her, and maybe she did, but it never occurred to her to really, hone in on what had to happen to you that was so bad.
Yeah.
And maybe she did, maybe she might have mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're that young, you can't even imagine what's out there.
Right. And that could derail your life like this to get you to this point in your life. Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm like super analytical. And so I literally would have been like, okay, so my older self is not telling me what's going on. So I'm going to make a list. Like I literally would have made like a list. I would have analyzed myself. I would have done a lot of like introspection, like what could knock me off of my game this much? What could have happened, right? And so,
but for the most part, when you're young like that,
but but that's not her character. Her character is young, impetuous, like she's very spontaneous, all of that stuff. She doesn't think deeply about anything, and so I get it. But me, I would have figured it out. I would have figured out something, and maybe I don't know what I would have thought about myself, but.
There was the whole thing, this whole episode with her still trying to figure out how she's supposed to go back. It just
spent a long time.
It was flat. It was flat for me. A tunnel. I'm like, a tunnel?
How mundane.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
And how did you get there? Because it's because she found that flower.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, the ties to the flower and the tunnel,
we're loose at best.
Yeah, because we got the flower early on that was important.
Yes.
But it still needed to be a little stronger, like the place. Like maybe it's a place they went to all the time or they visited, and I don't know. It just was flat to me, and I don't know how they could have done it, but I know it was flat.
If I was trying to fix it, I would have showed the father with a little bit more agency, meaning like he was like, right, because all of it is just mysterious to us, right? How the father was able to do this and everything. But if you would have given him a little bit more agency, spend one episode giving him some agency, like just really just focus on him and who did he make a deal with in order to make this happen?
There you go.
Then that to me would have closed the gap.
We needed to see the father in the background somewhere working this, because obviously he was working this, right?
Yeah.
He called, he sent her. We didn't
get any of that. He even picked that lily of the field. So that's right, lily of the valley.
Yeah.
Okay. He even picked that flower, right? And that flower actually he gave to Hume when he was a child.
Yes, he gave him a
flower. And it was like
so the flower was important.
Yes. And so and he picked it, and it's like, and because she was having those dreams and that flower, like in that scene, and that flower kept disappearing, like I said, to me, I would have appreciated, right? And I know writers write, and we're just, we ain't wrote nothing. So, writers can say what, they looking at us like, y'all just
but
critics.
But you know what? We know when it's done right, and some people do it right.
Yeah.
So this one,
it was tough. It was tough to watch it, and I'm so much glad. I am so glad we binged this one, and so started compressing episodes down, because to me it made it actually a lot more enjoyable, because then we didn't have to wait as long through the dead episodes. Not dead, but just the episodes that just kind of dragged this. And so anyway, it is what it is. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it, but I'm just saying
we enjoyed it. It's just okay.
There were some things that were like big misses, and that was a big miss. Like I said, if you would have gave the father a little bit of agency, show like just enough to get us to go like, okay. But they made it too mystical, and
she came back so quick. Like the accident brought her so quickly, and then this whole thing of her walking through the tunnel and having to find it. Yeah, I don't know, but okay. There was another scene in here where the grandma apologizes.
Yes,
also
very important to the healing process, right there.
Yeah. Let me see.
This is for all of them, right?
This is, yeah.
It was for all of them, and anyway.
And this is where Anthony, he gives up all his money.
Okay.
Which that wasn't necessary, Anthony. You could have kept some of it. But he opens a restaurant. That's what he does.
Oh, you're just jumping straight to the wrap up on him. So yeah,
there wasn't not too much to talk about.
Yeah, there really wasn't that much to talk about.
That's it. Like this is it. So he opens up a restaurant, and
becomes like the anti-bully person.
Yes, that was so cute when the young kids go and call him and say somebody's getting bullied, and he runs out.
Yeah,
totally love that. But I've never seen him cook before, so whatever.
Well, but, see what? So they did drop something about
he did make the sandwiches. Did he make? Wasn't he making sandwiches? The salad sandwich?
I don't think he ever made a salad.
And no, in his restaurant.
Yes, because he did. They connected back to that salad sandwich.
So he made,
So the thing that I was thinking about is that, remember, he went back to the high school, and they were like, "Hey, you want to go out to eat?"
Oh, in the restaurant.
And he was like, "Yo, I'm thinking about Mom's snack shop or something like that." He's like, "My mouth is watering just by thinking of it."
But it was gone.
And so, if he's moving back, which I'm just assuming that he moved, he placed it right there, and all of that. And so,
did we catch the name of the place?
Oh shoot, yeah, they said it. I just don't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. I really thought that was cool.
So the morning exercises. We never practiced our dance. I feel terrible.
No, I can't get my arm.
Maybe if we have time, we'll practice a dance and post it or something.
You know what? I think
on Instagram.
We'll do it on Instagram.
Yeah. If you haven't signed up for Instagram, so go there just in case
hit us up.
In case we do the dance. Okay. And you already know I can't sing, so
that is for sure.
Yeah,
you
have to find the episode where I'm singing.
Could not carry a tune.
So dumb. Why did you let me do that? Why didn't you just stop me?
Oh no, are you kidding me? That was amazing.
You let me just embarrass myself.
That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. And so,
but anyways, they do the exercises. And Hyun and Yoon is in the big office.
Oh yeah, so job change. Promoted. Hated that.
You thought it should have been
hated it.
You thought it should have been Hyun?
Oh no. So you're saying Yoon was promoted to chairman?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm saying Hyun. Are you talking about Hyun making the office change? No.
I'm talking about Yoon. He was in his new office. That was great. He was doing the dance.
I like that. That was good.
Hyun went back to the kitchen.
And that's where he should have stayed.
To be the dummy cook or whatever they called him. What do they call him?
Actually, he should have been the head. Well, that's where he should have stayed.
Oh, you were right. Didn't. He goes over to the development or
horrible decision making.
Should have been head chef. Why? You are right. Why? Why did they miss that one?
Oh my goodness, that was just dumb. I mean, I get it. Maybe they wanted head chef. Maybe they wanted to have.
Who's our screenwriter here?
I know. I'm telling you, like this is like no. This wrap up.
This could have been huge.
Just staying the head chef. That would have been, to me, that was so much more appropriate. But they try to make it too cutesy. It's like, damn it, Ha-ni and freaking Hyun are going to be in the same building.
No.
They don't need to be any closer together.
You know what they
in order
did?
to pull off this miniature romance that you're trying to do at the end.
I know. You know what they should have did? Oh my God, the perfect ending. They should have made him head chef, and he should have made this huge elaborate lunch and brought it just for her, like on a little tray. And they would have been, who's that for? Nope. It's for Ha-ni. Remember how he did when she went in and he was giving her extra meat? That's what it should have been. He should have been the head chef, where he was developing all the food, and then they maybe should have even showed them going back to the cafeteria and they have all this fancy food because now he developed the food.
Yeah,
it wasn't like those dry little patty things or whatever.
He does not need to be on the product marketing team.
He doesn't have a certificate for that.
He doesn't have a certificate for that.
They could have opened up a nail salon in there though, so the women can, go get their nails done. Because
little spa,
he has
little spa treatment at the
gosh, because he does massages too. He could have opened up a whole thing because he remember all his and he had the nail artistry certificate.
Sure could.
Oh, they blew it.
Just to get us outside the box of what
these people are paid.
I think it would have just
these people are paid.
It would have been that would have been worth spending half an episode on. Of just like showing how genius Hyun could be, because that to me was actually really important, was that Hyun developed like he becomes more than just a child, but they didn't nail that at all for me at the end. Like I said, being head chef, that was perfect. That's a perfect, it's a place of authority. It demonstrates that he's grown up. And if we would have been able to implement some of his idea or like some of his certificates into the company structure, I think that would show how big he's become on the inside, right?
That would have been so cute if they would have did something where like every certificate
mattered. That would have been so dope on so many different levels. But anyway,
somebody blew that one big time.
I mean, they feel like they have a good story, I guess. I mean, we're good.
No,
people need to be consulting us.
I know.
Hey, talk K dramas. We will give you we have ideas. We will give you our consulting services for a spot in your K drama. That's it. That's all you got to do is just put us in the drama, somehow make it make sense for us to be there in your drama. Okay. That's the price, at least for the first one. Okay. After that, we're going to start charging.
Just a couple more things to close just a couple more things to close this up. Ha-ni and Hyun. So they don't end with like a huge romance. It's cute. They he gives her I don't know how to pronounce those flowers. Freesia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it means new beginnings. So he gives her flowers, which was really cute. He shows her all the certificates, and that's where she sees the nail artistry on there.
She's like, can you do my nails? That was funny.
So I guess they kind of ended it as a
budding romantic relationship, because she gives him a quick little smooch.
She kissed him. Did she kiss him on the lips?
Yep, she did. Little smooch.
Like they were right there at the water edge.
Close your eyes. I got a surprise for you. Smooch. It was quick.
That old woman, that cougar.
Hey. Well, hey, I mean, like I said,
I just talked to an old friend, Angela. She's like 5-6 years older than her husband.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it work for you? Like, and she's like, yeah, you can. People don't even notice.
After a certain age, you don't notice. That's for sure. But with Ha-ni and Hyun, it was noticeable. But Ha-ni, Ha-ni's the actress, she's actually considerably old. I think she's like 5 years older than what the stated age is. I think she's like she's in her 40s. So she's like 43, 42. Yeah.
But you know what we were talking about? The age difference? Because me and her are the same age. We're talking about premenopausal stuff.
You weren't. Oh.
And she
said you are not the same age, but okay.
Me and Angela?
Oh, Angela. Okay, got
my friend Angela, but
I thought you were talking about how I'm like,
no. So I haven't talked to my friend in like 10 years, and she accidentally texted me. She thought she was texting another Alice. So we've been talking. So we made a phone date because she lives in Florida and I'm in California. Anyways, so we're talking about like being premenopausal, and I was like, hey, listen, Bruce was telling me, because he has a friend who's like a clinical psychologist, and he was saying, hey, women, when they go through menopause, their libido goes up and the men go down. And then she's like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about it. My husband's younger than I am. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Okay. So it might be a good thing Hume's younger than her.
There you go. It could work out.
I don't know. But there's Alejandro is the new Anthony, just to throw that in there. They had to throw that in there. The two idiots from her old town, from young Hani's old, where she grew up.
Yeah, hometown.
They finally got into the Guinness's Book of World Records, I think.
Yes.
For the
most attempts at Guinness World Records. Yes.
Oh my God. So that funny. I forget about them, and then they bring them back and I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but weird, but they were trying to throw something in cute. And so the end of the scene goes all the way back to the beginning of the first, where she's writing to herself, writing in her journal, writing to herself. I don't know who's going to read it, but this hit me because it sounds like she's writing to the young Hani, like her, but this hit me really hard at the end of this episode when she says, I love you. Oof. It makes me want to cry
again.
Oh. Because I feel like, she was just telling herself, like she was in so much pain and hatred and guilt, angry, and for her to have that, it was so awesome. It was cool.
That was worth it. Like, that was worth it.
Just because she said it to herself.
Yes, that was worth it.
Like, can you
this whole thing, even though there was some drag moments, and we would, we always got critique, but the moments that it delivered on, I'll take it.
Like, could you
no
say
regret,
that to
no regrets?
If your 17-year-old self was in front of you, would you say that? Ooh. Would you honestly?
Can you look in the mirror and say you love yourself?
Yeah, but your 17-year-old is like a jerk. That's how I was looking at it. Like, her younger self was, a butt.
Yeah.
That's what got her into this whole mess. But for her to accept it and tell her, I love you, this person that, I was.
Right.
I don't know. It was good.
Yeah. You read it that way. I didn't. I read it like an actual letter to the young Hani.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was saying, because when we started out with her younger self is what got her into all of this, because not that it was her fault, because that wasn't her fault, but she blamed that 17-year-old person. She blamed her, and so for her to finally say, I love you.
Right.
I felt like there was so much healing where she finally said, it wasn't my fault.
Yes.
It wasn't, my fault that this happened.
She had to say it herself.
Yeah. And
she wasn't convinced herself.
That hit me. Hit me hard.
For sure. So there's two things I was thinking of because of just my next little binge, my little side binge. It was to go back. I should have said it when we were talking about Anthony. I didn't realize there was so little left. Where he did this whole where he became the anti-bully, if you would. Man, when we see what we see, right? It's like, and I look at it from my sociological lens and everything, and it's like, man, this bullying thing is at biblical, must be at such a high level in South Korea that
right now
it must be nuts.
What are you watching? What's your side?
Because I'm watching All of Us Are Dead right now.
Our neighbor watched that.
Zombie. It's a zombie one, and I'm gonna do, you know, a little side one, and I still owe the listeners Hellbound.
Yeah.
And so I'll make sure I do that. To tell you the truth, we'll probably do that.
Get to your point, Mister.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So
bullying. So the
All of
zombie
Us
is
Are
about
Dead
bullying?
is about it's about bullying. One of the the reason, I'm gonna say this is not too much of a spoiler. The reason why the zombies were created was because a father was trying to make their son like stronger to be able to resist bullying.
Oh.
And then it's
Okay, okay,
of
okay.
course it's
Don't get too
a
much.
science, it's
You know
a
what?
zombie movie, but
You should just, we should just say goodbye, and you can right now talk about it. We'll record it, and if you're watching this, look out for Bruce's review on.
well, I wanted to say something. Well, anyway,
Oh, I'm sorry. You were?
I get, you know what?
It was taking so long. I thought you were going to start reviewing the movie. Nope. Because Anthony's a bully. And bullying must be maybe a big
It's
thing.
just it must. It's like I said, when you see as many, when I see as many things about bullying,
there must be something
from just from flicking through Netflix and their catalog and stuff.
We
like
should
you
do
know,
a search and see.
It's just it must, like I said, it must be huge. And I've told you before, and it bears because when we were watching Kingdom, it's like horror movies are a social, are way more of it's a social critique. Yeah. It's horror movies and science fiction to a degree, but horror movies specifically are a social critique. They always have been, always will be some type of social critique. And so, like I said, when you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, it's like, yo, this really must be a big deal right now. That's why, right? So anyway.
So if that's true, it's interesting that in this drama, they chose to have Anthony just completely give up.
Yeah.
To walk away because, like, punishment.
Yeah.
Like, this is how bad it is.
This is how bad bullying is in our society.
You need to just walk away.
And we need to have someone
that's
give this level of respect, you know, like respect to the people he's bullied, and
to walk
change
away.
His life. Yeah.
Wow. That was pretty good, Bruce. That was deep. I didn't think it was going to go there.
Because you keep rushing me, but yes,
okay, look,
you're right though. You're right.
To be fair, so they don't think, so our listeners don't think I'm a bully. I'm thinking of you because it's Friday, and you, right after we turn this off, you have to edit this and drop it, and you're supposed to have lunch with a friend. So I'm actually thinking of you. That's why.
Last thing.
What? The one more thing?
I didn't want to say, like, there was a bit of me that was disappointed in that they didn't do a tune-up on Ha-ni's life, on the older Ha-ni's life, in the same way that they did what you call Back to the Future. How same person exists, that you get a tune, you get a tune-up. You get a tune-up.
What changed? Do you know why? Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I thought the same thing. Like, is it because she gets to go back and relive? Does she remember everything and she's going to live better? If creating that's the case,
an alternative timeline.
Yes.
Good job, love.
I was thinking that.
Man.
However,
all that Star Trek stuff has been helping you.
Yes, but this is how I reconciled it. We weren't watching that timeline. We were watching the current timeline. We didn't get to see the next timeline.
I would have loved, and see, this is just me, right? I would have loved them to back off of a few of the episodes and spend one episode on the new timeline. Remember, like, because that was also the King.
Oh, Eternal she would Monarch. Own Joa.
Right. But just like King, Eternal Monarch, how, like, you have there. I don't know if you remember that there was a spin where she was there and she saw Eamon Ho's character and he didn't even recognize her. I don't know if
there
you
was a
remember, right?
timeline
It's
where
like, right? And so I'm just like, yo, are they gonna? And then they didn't. And I was like, and so
yeah.
I was left with this kind of, this dry feeling in my mouth, like, yo, they could have gave me a little bit. I mean, can you
Yes.
send us into the other timeline a little bit?
But
Can you?
this obviously
Because
didn't.
I'm also wondering, I really do wonder if all the older versions, do they go back with, do they go back to that timeline with at least the residual, the residual memories of, yo, we need to forgive her now. And what kind of woman would she become if,
You know what?
right?
Maybe
That's
nothing.
something that means something to
Listen,
me.
this is where I get a headache. It wasn't about going back and changing anything. Nothing changes.
Yeah, they clearly made it that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing changes. What this was meant is the current timeline where we change the older Hani. It wasn't about going back to change the young Hani,
Right.
so that the older Hani would be a different person. It was about changing the Hani at her age right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Don't think any more about it, because then your head's gonna explode. That's it. Don't
Like in
think
Time Machine.
anymore.
Well, see, yeah, and there's this movie I'm thinking about, Time Machine.
Right, Orson Welles.
Oh, you looked it up? No, so
Everybody
yeah.
knows
Oh,
Orson Welles, that
so
he wrote Time
but
Machine.
yeah, but there's, so they made, it's like, they went like a billion years into the future or something,
Yeah.
or a million or something like that, and there was someone who can answer his question of, why can't I change the timeline?
Oh, what did he say? I don't remember.
It was
That I don't
brilliant.
remember.
It was brilliant in regards to how they did it, but there's there's some sci-fi kind of loopholes that you can go through, right? But it's like, as the creator of the machine, you can't change the timeline, because then it eliminates your need to create the machine.
And then, yeah.
And so then if you think about,
see, yeah,
right, and so if you think about this whole thing, it's like, if you change the outcome. So I was cool with the father still dying. As a matter of fact, I thought that was true to form. Like, that needed to happen in order, because none of this would have happened if that didn't happen. So it was like, okay, that needed to happen. But at the same time, like I said, if you focus on the healing and all of that stuff that happened in that space, it's like, and if, like I said, if you got that residual feeling, at least the residual feeling for the grandmother, the mother, the sister, then I feel like her life, yes, she'll still be depressed. Yes, she's still going to suffer, but that she'll come out of it way quicker. And I would have loved to have gotten, what, doesn't need to be a whole episode, just a half episode of what life would look like as the older Hani in the new timeline.
yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I would have liked that, but
that's you.
I'm that dude.
And that's really wasn't their focus.
Clearly it wasn't their focus.
It wasn't about,
but because it wasn't their focus, you could have shortened this down to 12 easy.
We say that almost at every drama.
You're right. We do say that almost every drama.
Yeah, the whole going back timeline thing really is hard for me, because I can't.
When we watched Star Trek Discovery, I literally thought Alice's mind was going to explode. Like, for real. There was some
it's like you,
they even got me a couple of times, and I'm like, man, it's hard to get me.
It's like you type of people that want to talk about all this time.
You type of people?
People that like time, sci-fi stuff. All of you crazy people, you want to believe you can go back in time so bad and do all these different timeline stuff, but so you just kind of are okay with, but we can't really do this. Okay, we'll just forget about that. But let's go ahead and, it's just, anyways.
This was Talk K-Dramas
with Bruce and Alice. Follow me. Episode 15 and 16. We'll see you on our next drama.
Which will be?
It should be extracurricular.
It should be extracurricular.
And look out for Bruce's little review on
Hellbound and All of Us Are Dead, for sure. Like, I'm gonna do that, and we're not doing that like Fisher cut bait. I'm actually going to talk, like, give a few spoilers or whatever.
And also, I want to do a review on that movie about the grandma that goes into a studio and comes back like at 20 years old, 20 years
Oh,
old.
so you found another
No, I've seen it
time travel.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw it before, and I started watching it again because I'm like, I think I watched this, but I can't remember. So I'm gonna rewatch it again. It's a movie.
Yeah.
So look for that. We'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
All righty. Bye.